Success can be deceiving, especially when it comes to money. Now, I've worked with hundreds of Christian families over the past decade, and over time, I've noticed something troubling, and it's that many successful people, business owners making seven figures, executives with substantial portfolios, and families with generational wealth, they're all making the same three critical mistakes with their finances. Now, obviously, these aren't mistakes born from lack of resources or poor intentions. These are good people, generous people, faithful people who have simply lost sight of something fundamental with biblical principles in their financial journey. My name is Cole Leonida. I'm a certified financial planner and a certified kingdom advisor with John Moore Associates. And today, I want to share these three mistakes with you because recognizing them could completely transform your financial future and your spiritual walk. The families who correct these mistakes don't just see better returns or lower taxes, they experience true financial peace, contentment, and discover new levels of generosity they never thought possible. So let's dive into these three mistakes that even successful Christians make, and more importantly, how you can avoid them. Number one, lifestyle creep that crowds out generosity. The pattern I see repeatedly: income doubles, but expenses triple. All the while, giving stays flat. Here's an example. I had a client that went from making $200,000 a year to over $1 million per year. Now, when they were making $200,000, they gave a full tithe. $20,000 each year they gave faithfully and joyfully. But you know what happened to their lifestyle when they went up to $1 million a year of income? You guessed it, a bigger house, luxury cars, exotic vacations. Now look, God wants us to enjoy what He's blessed us with. We're also called to be joyful and generous givers. We're called to make disciples, to expand God's kingdom on earth just as it is in heaven. What do you think happened to this family's giving? Well, nothing and everything. The dollar amount they gave was the exact same as before, $20,000. But their percentage fell to less than 1% of their $1 million per year income. Now, this is an example of how the shift can go from how much can we give to how much do we really need to give. These bigger homes, these nicer cars, these more expensive vacations can become the new normal. But what does the Bible say about this drift? Well, Matthew 6:21 says, "Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." The danger of upgrading your lifestyle faster than income growth is that comfort can become your idol or even your god without you even realizing it. What's the real cost of this mistake? Decreased capacity for kingdom impact. We also see that children learn that success equals consumption and material goods and not generosity and impact. We also see a lot of clients go through spiritual distancing from God as money becomes our source of security and hope instead of a relationship and a reliance on Him. So how do we correct our course? Well, first, let's create a giving plan. This should be a primary part of your financial plan with a focus on strategic, long-term giving. So how do you create a giving plan? Well, first, pray. Invite God into your finances and ask Him what He would have you do with the assets that He's entrusted you with. Number two, set some generosity goals that increase as your income grows. And what sort of impact do you want to have or to make on your community? Get specific, write these things down, and think big. Don't pigeonhole yourself. What would you give if you had the resources to do so? God listens and honors those with generous intentions. You never know what you could be capable of giving. Next, create automatic systems that prioritize giving before lifestyle expansion. Try treating your giving like you treat your saving into your 401k. Make it automatic. As James Clear says in Atomic Habits, in order to create behavior change, you need to make it easy. There is nothing easier than automated recurring giving, and also allow space for increases to that giving. If your goal is a full tithe of 10%, but you're only giving 2% now, consider a systematic increase of 1% per year until you meet your stated giving goal. And finally, involve your family. Have regular family discussions about money as a tool for impact and not just a goal for comfort. Make it a family discussion about what causes are in the most need or that you care about the most. Ask God for guidance and make thoughtful and joyful giving decisions that fit in your overall plan. So now for mistake number two, ignoring estate planning until it's almost too late. Why do successful Christians postpone this crucial step? Well, estate planning feels like planning for death, not for life. Busy seasons in business or career or youth sports push it to someday, and that someday may never come. The assumption that you need to have money in order to have a plan. Well, that is not biblical. We have the biblical mandate that we are ignoring here. It comes from Proverbs chapter 13. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. God calls us to be wise stewards, not just wealth accumulators building bigger barns. Planning isn't about death. It's about faithful stewardship for you and for the next generations. So what happens when we wait too long? Inevitably, family conflict comes up over unclear intentions. For many of you, massive tax bills could have been avoided. Your charitable goals could have been funded more intentionally and more efficiently. And maybe most importantly, you lose opportunities for teaching generosity and stewardship to the next generation. So what's the path forward? Start with your basic documents, your wills, your trusts, your ancillary documents, your powers of attorney. Even if your situation isn't perfect yet, or you don't think you need that advanced plan, do it anyways. Work with your advisors who understand both the tax strategy as well as biblical principles. Very important. Include your children in age-appropriate discussions about money and about your estate plan, and have regular reviews as your wealth and your family situation evolves. Now, before we continue to our third mistake, I want to make something clear. We work with Christian families who are serious about aligning their finances with their faith. Maybe you're a business owner, an executive, or you're approaching retirement, and you want a financial plan that actually reflects your values. This isn't just investment management. We do comprehensive, biblically based financial planning that includes tax strategy, estate planning, and charitable giving optimization. We meet with new clients at least 3 times to understand your heart, your values, analyze your numbers, and finally, to create a clear action plan that aligns your wealth with your values. Now, we can't work with everyone, but if you're someone who wants to be intentional about stewarding God's resources, this might be exactly what you need. If you'd like to learn more or speak with us directly, click the first link in the description to visit our website and book an introductory call. So anyway, back to the content. Mistake number 3, investing in ways that conflict with your beliefs. The disconnect here is all over the place, and many Christians simply choose to ignore it. Portfolios can be filled with companies that overwhelmingly oppose your biblical values. Now, sometimes people will say it's just business, but that mentality of separating faith from finances can be very dangerous. Lack of awareness about what's actually inside your investment accounts can be problematic, because the Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians chapter 10 that whatever you do, including investing, do it all for the glory of God. Our investments are an extension of our stewardship, and supporting businesses that align with or oppose our kingdom values matters. Why does this matter? Well, because your portfolio might be funding activities that you would never personally support. You could also be missing opportunities to support companies doing incredible kingdom work. And there's an inconsistency between Sunday values and your Monday investments. So what is the path to alignment? Well, it's to work with advisors who can implement values-based investing or biblically responsible investing, to understand that you don't have to sacrifice returns for your principles. We can review your current holdings to make sure they're in alignment with your beliefs, and we can help you consider the positive impact of intentional investing choices. Now look, I've given you a lot here, but here's what I want you to understand. These 3 mistakes are not just financial errors. They're ultimately stewardship issues that can impact your relationship with God and your family's legacy. The good news is that every one of these mistakes is correctable. I've seen families completely transform their financial lives by addressing these blind spots, and the peace and the purpose they discover is truly remarkable. If you're recognizing yourself in any of these mistakes, don't wait. The longer you postpone making changes, the more difficult and expensive the solutions can become. Now, we've spent over 30 years as a firm helping Christian families align their finances with their faith. It is our mission to walk alongside the families we serve, helping them become wise and generous stewards. We understand both the technical aspects of wealth management and the biblical principles that should guide every financial decision. If you'd like to explore whether we might be a good fit to help you address these areas, please visit johnmoore.com or click the link in the description to schedule a complimentary intro call with one of our advisors. And remember, faithful stewardship isn't just about having more money, it's about managing God's resources in ways that bring Him glory and advance His kingdom. Thanks so much for watching, and if this was helpful, please like and subscribe for more content like this, and we'll see you right here on the next one.